All right, so you are probably always wondering how the professional photos from wildlife photographers are looking so crisp, so sharp. Everything is perfect. And they're not always like that. Most of the time they are, and I'm always saying get the best you can in camera and then do whatever you can in post to enhance the details and the quality of the image, but most of the work should be done in camera. Now, today I decided to show you a little bit of how I'm editing photos and what I'm doing to my photos to look the way they look. Maybe good, maybe bad. It's your decision. I like them and I am enjoying doing this kind of edit. So let's get into my computer. Literally, we're gonna dive in our computers and I'm gonna show you exactly how I'm doing and what I'm doing to make those photos pop a little bit and give them a little bit more oomph. Not much than that, and you'll probably see that I'm not doing crazy stuff. Alright, so as you probably know already, I'm editing my photos in Lightroom, and this is Lightroom 2026 or whatever, the latest version of it. So these are the photos from one session that was actually shot a couple of days ago. And you can tell that some of them are already edited, and I don't want to open those ones because it doesn't make any sense to show you these photos. They're already edited, and we're gonna get another photo. We're gonna try another photo, and before I'm getting into this, I want to make a short mention of a company that sent me a T4 hub, a Thunderbolt 4 hub, Toben One, and I want to thank them for doing that. This is not sponsored or anything. I just like this thing because it has a lot of ports, and I am using a Mac Mini M4, pretty beefed up, but there are not enough ports for me and for all the hard drives and everything that I'm using, mouse and keyboard and everything. So this one is very helpful. It's a T4, like I said. It also has a card reader and a micro SD reader, so I think you'll be fine if you buy one of these. And like I said, it's not a sponsored video. I just want to mention it. This is Toben One. Go on the website. I'm going to put it in the description below and check them out if you need one for yourself. Not very cheap, but cheaper. So and they're high quality magnetic holders and all that. Let me know if you want more about it, and I can make a video about this hub. Now back to the video. So I was saying these were already edited, but there are plenty of them right here, and you can tell that the sharpness, it's not necessarily amazing, because I was telling you, if you remember in the last video, something about the heat distortion, and the heat distortion is exactly what you're seeing here in the background and right here in front. You can tell that the bokeh looks like it's in flames, which means that that we had a lot of heat distortion, and that heat distortion basically affects your image quality. And though these images are sharp, there are a few that if you look at them, they will look like something happened. You see around in this area right here, it looks like something is wrong, like you moved, or like the bokeh, it's not natural. Anyway, this is heat distortion. You can tell it everywhere, and this can affect your images, and you should be very careful about it. And it's not only given by the dirt or the water or whatever surface your subject is on, and it's also given by the lens hoods, because it creates that heat accumulation in the lens hood and can create distortion and affect the clarity and the sharpness of your image. So I'm gonna choose one image. Let's go through all this and see one that we like. I also shoot environmental photos for a company, and I am very happy that I got this photo when it shows this beautiful bird that is basically mad, and you can tell that this one is not perfect either, but we have this car behind it, and that will tell the story somehow for them, and I'm very happy that I captured that. So let's say, for example, let's take this photo. This looks pretty sharp to me. I like this plant right here in the back, which I think it's a Mexican salvia. I'm not sure, it might be just some reeds next to the water, because right here is the water. This is a house. This is basically next to the pond, and it's a pretty large field with grass, and these Crazo were here around, and I wanted to photograph them and have them literally captured in this kind of environment, which is rare. So every time I'm starting a photo, I'm going to the develop module, and if you can see right here on the left on my presets, I already have 2 presets built for my photos, and I like them both. This one is a little bit cooler, this one is a little bit warmer. It's more for, like, let's say a sunset photo, and that's all I'm using. But it's not only that I'm using those, I'm actually doing adjustments to those presets while I'm going, and that is very important. Even if you buy presets from someone, or if you download mine that I'm gonna put in the description below, I'm gonna send you these 2, and you can be able to download them if you need them. They're free, so you don't have to do anything other than subscribing to the channel and give me a thumbs up. No, I'm just kidding. You can download them in the description below. They're free. They're the ones that I like, and the ones that I'm using for all my photos, at least as a starting point. And this is the photo that we're gonna work with today. So first and foremost, you can look at the histogram right here, and you can tell that the photo is a little bit dark. So if I'm raising the blacks a little bit and push the blacks out of the left edge, there is nothing much clipped. Even the whites in this photo are not clipped, which is good. I think I shot it underexposed by probably I don't know, a quarter of a stop, but we can raise the exposure a little bit now, and now the histogram is also perfect. It's I mean almost perfect. And now the next step in my editing is to crop the image, and because there is a lot of distractions in the back, I would probably usually, I don't know, crop this image something like, I would say like this, and that will be the final image for me. But because of this white area, which is someone's garage door, and the pole right here, and because I wasn't able to get very close to basically melt those in bokeh, I can do that sometimes I can't, especially with birds that are not allowing you to get very close. So because of that, I will probably use a different crop, and I like that plan, like I said, in the back. So I'm gonna crop a little bit tighter than I usually do, just to show you how I'm doing this. And it's easy if you don't know how to crop. It's easy to play with all these presets right here, the crop presets. And what I usually do, I'm doing a 4x5, which you can tell was very close to that, and I'm trying to put the bird somewhere closer to the middle, but not in the middle of the image, and give her space on all sides, especially on the side that is looking towards. So this will be my crop. There is a little bit of white, and we're gonna fix that a little bit later. Now I need to choose which one of these 2 presets I'm gonna use, and I know I already did some modifications, so I'm gonna just remove those, and I'm gonna probably use this one, the birds too, and this one gives me a little bit, this has a lot of heat distortion, but we don't care about that now. So this one gives me a little bit more warm tone, so I'm probably gonna dial down the warm a little bit to probably around 4600, I would say, something like that. Yeah, I think this one looks pretty good now. So this is how it looks with the edits in the preset that I chose, and you can tell I actually lighten up the image a little bit with exposure. I gave a little bit more contrast. I think it's a little bit too much for this image. I am not pretty happy with a lot of contrast. I'm taking the highlights down. It's not necessary, but I usually do that to make sure that I don't have any clipping. Then I'm bumping up the shadows a little bit too much on the preset, so I'll probably dial down a little bit. Also, I'm bumping the whites and the blacks to create a little bit of a contrast. I don't know, probably plus 5 it's more than enough. And then in the tone curve, I already have a tone curve that gives me more in the shadows, which makes the image a little bit flatter. So if you want more contrast, you can reverse this one and have an S curve, as it is called. And now you have plenty of contrast and the image looks good. But my style doesn't require that kind of contrast, so I'm happy the way it is right now. Then if you need anything changed in terms of colors, for example, I'm not a big fan of having powerful greens in my images, and I like to cool the greens a little bit because it makes the birds usually having a warmer tone a little bit more predominant in the image, like popping up a little bit more, and probably close the luminance a little bit, so makes the bird popping. So if you look at this right now, if I'm showing you, you can tell that now it looks a little bit better, and the background, it's actually pretty balanced with our subject. I'm not doing much in color grading, or if I need to, you can work with the shadows, the highlights, the midtones. Usually people are putting a little bit of a blue in the shadows and a little bit warm in the highlights, and that's not a bad thing. Again, if you look at it, it affects it very, very lightly, but it makes the image look a little bit warmer and creates those dark black shadows. And then we're going to the detail, and this version of Lightroom, as probably in the last 3 versions or 4 versions, they introduced the AI denoise, which is a denoise enhancer or whatever it's called. This one, it's a great tool, and I will show you the image at 100%, and you can see all these little grain. The image was shot at ISO 320, so it's not that bad. I can leave it like that. But this one also contains raw details and super resolution. I'm not gonna select super resolution, but I'm gonna do the denoise, which add automatically the raw details, and that will create a better, I would say, an image with more pop, because there's not going to be so much distortion from the grain in the back of the subject, and even on the subject if that's the case. But after like 25 seconds the image would look like this. You can tell it's a subtle change. And good thing about this is that you can dial it down, you can dial it up if you need to, you can dial it down, and I will dial it down because I don't need that much of a noise reduction. And now with the sharpening, because this image is not perfectly sharp, I'm going to use sharpening, and I'm always doing the masking first. So I'm looking at the whole image and see what I need to be sharp. As you can tell, the bird is gonna be sharpened and a little bit in the background. And then holding the Alt or Option on your Mac, you can look at the image in black and white. And I think this is the best way to see how much sharpening you have to do for the image to don't look crazy. And you can tell the difference is, I would say, pretty significant, and I like the way it looks. Probably around 100 in sharpness. Yeah, this is perfect. And now from here to here, from here to here, this is the image. So from here to here, you can tell it's a big difference. And yeah, this is pretty much what I'm doing to my images. After that, I'm just exporting the image in JPEG on 100 quality. sRGB because I have to post them for you guys as well as use them on the web. So I used to use Adobe ProPhoto RGB, but sometimes DaVinci Resolve, when I'm editing videos and I'm adding the photos, it changes the colors because it works in a different color palette. So I only choose sRGB. sRGB is perfect. That's it, guys. That's all my editing. So it takes like what, 5 minutes for a photo probably, if it's anything that I need to crop. And I was telling you, good thing I remembered, I was telling you that we can fix this, and to fix that you can always go into masking, and if I'm pressing subject, this masks the bird, and we can do adjustments to the bird. And that looks a little bit too much, probably maybe brighten it up a little bit. Yeah, that will look good. So this is the mask for the bird, and we can do specific local sharpness or texture or whatever you want to do, clarity or a little bit of a dehaze, and make the bird look even more sharp and popping even more in the photo. And we also can do a radial gradient right here and mask this part of the image that has a lot of white in it. So if I'm warming this up a little bit, it already looks better. From white to a little bit of a warmer color, it looks way better. It's not distracting. And you can do that on both sides. You can also create another radial mask with a pretty good, pretty wide feather, and do the same thing on this side and brighten it up a little bit, and maybe warm it up a little bit. And now we have a consistent, balanced background color on both sides. Maybe this one right here, and you can always go back and maybe reduce the luminance or the exposure a little bit. And now this is the final image. So yeah, that's it, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget that these presets are gonna be in the description below, as well as a link for the Toben One hub. And I will see you in the next one. That's it.